Nuguam, Carey Newman, Heyman Bachlamtla'i Hayalth Kingume. I come from the Kokwekum, Giksam, and Wawalabai clans of the Kokwakiwak Nation, which is on the northern end of Vancouver Island, as well as from Chiam of the Stalo Nation, which is along the Upper Fraser Valley. And I'm a carver. We're here at my studio, looking at a few of the projects that I do or that I'm working on currently. So welcome. Yeah, so I learned to carve from my father, Victor. And when I was a little boy, I cut my thumb trying to carve a wooden car made out of scraps of wood that were on the floor of his workshop. And I was hooked. Now I have a child who's older than I was at the time, and I'm still as interested today in carving as I was back then. I don't carve cars anymore. Generally I carve poles, panels, paddles. And I think I'd say that I'm motivated by, partly by the tradition, partly by that, like the cultural resurgence that comes with really understanding an art form. The commitment that I made a couple of years ago not to cut down any more old growth trees. So what we're looking at here, these are old growth, but these are salvage pieces. They were salvaged from logs that escaped from booms or pulled out of cut blocks and they were left behind because they weren't big enough or they were too difficult to access, that sort of thing. So that's one of the things that I've been doing, and sort of investigating new ways is another way. And for that, I've been working with a team at Camosun Innovates to develop this big apparatus that we were looking at this morning and getting set up to cut, so that we're still connected to that sort of the sacredness of the tree of life, of cedar. I use more power tools early on. So, for instance, on the one over here, which is in very early stages, I'll make lots of chainsaw cuts and then use adzes, which is a traditional tool to knock off blocks of wood, and to kind of to slowly rough the piece in. I don't see the technology as being sort of sacred, and so I do use them. And then the very last part is this one, which is almost complete. And the tools kind of start out big, like so I have knives that have two handles, and then they get smaller and smaller and smaller as we go along. And so we end up having, big chainsaws and power tools to start on one like that. Definitely when it comes to public art, or art that's going to be in public places, I try whenever possible to make sure that I'm reflecting on and building directly into the design. We have a word in Kwakwala, Awitnikyola, and it means to live in good relationship with the land, air, water, spirit worlds and everything in them. So I think about that a lot. What it means to be in good relationship with trees, what it means to be in good relationship with each other, what it means to be in good relationship with technology. I sort of embed that in the process, but also in what I'm depicting. For me, the deeper meaning of the work does come from being able to do something that makes people just think a little bit differently, just to maybe tickle the back of their consciousness, just to imagine things in a different way. Like I made some public work called the earth drums. Just by making these great big boxes that you can pound on, you can see how people interact with them and how maybe sometimes when they're playing them, they recognize that they're making music for the land. And just the act of making music for the earth underneath our feet is a tiny little shift in consciousness. And so it's that kind of little readjustment of a traditional art form of a bentwood box, but made really big and turned into a drum. I want to leave behind a planet that's healthy for my daughter and for the generations to come. Like a similar here, so that there would